guys, I'm going to India to work with the Adivasi population. Can you guys tell me about the etic perspective regarding access and maternal health there?
Well, accessing healthcare is a pretty complicated thing. A comprehensive view considers availability, accessibility, accommodation, affordability, and acceptability. The corresponding abilities of populations to interact with the dimensions of accessibility to generate access. This means that individuals need to be able to perceive a need, seek out and pay for care, and engage with the healthcare team.
The Adivasi people are the indigenous population of India, and they're also known as scheduled tribes because various tribes make up them, and they have since the 1950s been targeted or scheduled by the government of India for social and economic development. So the Bill, the Munda, and the Santhal are the three largest tribes within the Adivasi, and of India's entire population, Adivasi make up 8.6% and are located primarily in the northeastern states. Historically, the Adivasi have lived in isolation from caste society as hunting and gathering or agricultural communities. So since British rule beginning in the 1700s, the Adivasi have struggled to maintain legal rights to their land and pay land taxes demanded from them. Today, large companies and state corporations are still after their resource-rich land.
Due to their political history, Adivasi are at the lowest point of every socioeconomic indicator. Most of India regards them as primitive. In the post-independence period, the government has continuously failed to tend to the interests of the Adivasi. And Adivasi live in remote regions and districts with poorly staffed and ill-equipped centers, which puts them at a disadvantage to access healthcare. Transportation to centers is also difficult. There's also a deep-rooted mistrust between the non-tribal healthcare providers and the tribal residents. Despite the healthcare being universal in India, health remains a luxury and only the rich can afford it. Adivasi are socially excluded despite the move towards improving quality of life for these scheduled tribes. Old ways of thinking still reside. These scheduled tribes are often labeled as the untouchables. Children from the three lower caste groups are significantly more likely than the forward caste children to die young. They continue to face prejudice. Also, maternal mortality rates in India show the prevalence of health disparities. Being in a developing country, India already suffers from a mortality rate 33 times higher than that of the developed countries. Maternal health among Adivasi is significantly lower than the overall populations and are also at a 5 times higher risk of maternal death due to being low income. In 2015, the maternal mortality rate was 174 per 100,000. There has been no significant reduction in the number of maternal deaths in India, which could be related to the socio-economic factors that have a huge impact on health.
Wow. Well, the 3 delays model provides a framework for understanding not only the factors contributing to mortality, but also the 3 main factors that affect the outcome of maternal care. These factors were defined as the length of delays in the decision to access care, the identification of and transport to a medical facility, and receiving adequate and appropriate treatment. It is easy to see the similarities between this model and the definition of access. Socioeconomic and cultural factors, accessibility of facilities, and quality of care may independently affect the lengths of these 3 delays.
Okay. So, Sawyer, I think that when we look at the Adivasi experience, the 3 delays model can apply. The lack of medical facilities in these rural areas and the discriminatory medical practices against this group do not make it easy to have healthy outcomes. Thinking about the high mortality rate in pregnancies, it's also pretty clear that the consequences of poor access do not end there. After birth infant death rates in Adivasi are 27% higher than the rest of the Indian populations because of the poor living conditions and health disparities.
A national survey represents the emic perspective that showed that Adivasi women felt that when they were able to or did access healthcare services, they were discriminated against by their healthcare providers. It was one of the most prevalent factors that decreased care to scheduled tribes like the Adivasi. So while there's still a lot of work to be done, some improvements have been made for the Adivasi and other Indian women in maternal care. In 2011, the Indian government implemented the JSSK scheme. It's a government-funded mother-child protection program that includes free maternity services for women and children like free delivery, C-sections, and transport from home to hospital for mom and baby. They even included improvements in maternal death audits and health services at all levels. All these improvements make healthcare more accessible.
Well, thanks so much, guys.